Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball. You remember from the big home run chase back in 1998, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa was sold for over $3 million. But the question is, 22 years later, not the record anymore, what is the ball worth now? Well, Robert, I can tell you this. It is worth a lot less than what it was paid for. Obviously, McGwire Sosa has been a big topic of conversation. Documentary on ESPN kind of exploring that summer, that the home run chase that bought back baseball. And there was this guy who was actually he's a sports memorabilia collector, also a really big deal in the comic book world, Robert, right? Todd McFarlane?
Todd McFarlane, very famous illustrator and creator. I don't know if a lot of people know he wrote on DC and Marvel, Spider-Man and Batman, but I think he's most well known for the Spawn comic books and movies when he went out on his own and created Image Comics. There was a movie, there was an HBO show, and he was actually the head of all of that when that was going on. And like you said, though, he's a avid, collector of baseball memorabilia.
Right. So he has a lot of different collectibles, not just this very cool McGwire ball. But the McGwire thing, this was a record at the time. You remember Maris's record was broke both by Sosa and McGwire. And McGwire ended with 70 home runs that year. And people thought that was a record that would never be broken. So he drops $3 million, a little bit over $3 million on the ball. Well, you know, Barry Bonds has since broken the record. Mark McGwire has admitted to taking performance-enhancing drugs. So we talked to our auction people and we asked, hey, if Todd was to put this ball up for auction right now, what would it be worth? Do you want to take a guess, Robert? I know I've said it's not even close to what it was.
Maybe, what, 250,000 maybe?
It's worth anywhere from 250,000 to 300,000, maybe 400,000 tops.
Wow.
But can you imagine how much of a loss if he was to sell? How much of a loss he took on this ball? It's incredible.
And we had talked about this on a previous show about auctions and buying memorabilia. When you buy it at the time, the idea is that it's going to go up in value, but like a stock or anything else, anything can happen. And even before the McGwire admitted about the steroids, it lost value because it didn't take Barry Bonds long to break the record.
Right. This is almost like just an ordinary home run ball. I get it was a big deal, but it's not the record. I want, if you're Todd McFarlane, I imagine you just have to hold on to this. And, there's nostalgia. There's a good story associated with it. There's no point to selling it at this point. You just got to hold on to it. But
the weird thing is that ball is probably, in my mind, the least of all, because the real celebration was when he got to 62.
Yes.
And that ball was actually recovered by a St. Louis Cardinals groundskeeper who actually gave the ball back to McGwire. So he didn't make any money off of it. McGwire has that ball. So, I mean, if you don't have the 62 ball and the 70, like you said, it's just kind of a number now because of Barry Bonds. And then everything is tainted because of the pants. It's just, I'm surprised he can still even get $300,000 for it.